Hi everyone, and welcome back to Authentic Worth Publishing, bringing worth back into you through storytelling and book writing. In today's video, I want to talk about how you can progress with your book. As a self-published author, as a traditional published author, as a hybrid author, there are so many things that you need to know when you publish your book. It's not just necessarily relying on an organization or a company to help you promote your book, but it is also you as the author that is able to express their book to the world. Now, I want to start off with my first book, It's Time to Heal. And before I start off with that, I want to talk about the journey as to how I've got here. The journey when it comes to writing a book takes a lot of focus and a lot of strength. But above all, it is about purpose. When you wake up in the morning and you think about the story that you want to write, you need to ask yourself, why am I writing this book? What can this book do for my community? If someone buys my book today, how is it going to change their lives? As creatives, you are a creative. It's in the name. Creatives don't copy or manipulate. They inspire and they innovate. So your book is a book of innovation. Once you've uploaded your book onto the publishing platform of your choice, what would be the next step? It would be to promote it on social media, or you tell your family and friends about the book, or you allow people to read the book and allow them to give you reviews. There are so many ways you can get your book out there. A particular one that I've recently spoken to a client of ours is going to bookshops and finding out how they're doing, but also doing research about the book publishing market today. It's very easy to overlook research when it comes to how to market a book and what the current market is saying at the moment. But all these things are elements that you can use to create your unique marketing strategy. Even if someone was to tell you, do it this way because I did it this way, and you do it, what if it doesn't work? Regardless of whether it works or not, you have to do the marketing strategy that is right for you. One of my key marketing strategies to date that has proven to be successful are book launches. So far, with the books that I've written, I've had 8 book launches in total. 6 in person, 2 online, because of COVID, as we know, in 2020. So in those moments, I didn't back down. I knew that I had to continue sharing my story by allowing other people to learn of it. And it's not enough for you to think that because you've got a book, you're just going to leave it online for people to find. This is where the balance of social media comes in. I know not everybody who are authors are very used to social media, especially those of the older generation who prefer plain text messages, no socials, no platforms, just a phone or a laptop, and I understand that. But now things are changing so much. In other words, people are also looking at your platforms as books. They're finding out, what can I gain from following this person? Can I gain something new to add value to my life? If you see your book as a book that adds value, you will not need to worry about paying X amount of money to get someone to promote it for you. You need to believe in your story so much that you find the right people that understand the vision, that understand the assignment and partner with you. Being an author is not done alone. In as much as I love planning book launches, I know how important it is to get people that align with the purpose and the vision behind that book. Even if you wanted to have a book launch by yourself, as long as you add people on, that's when it becomes very effective. Even if you want to invite 2 people, a guest speaker, an interviewer, it is better than doing everything by yourself. Although in the first stance, when you've just released your book, it's a great way to be on camera, to let your audience know who you are, i.e. your name, what you do, what the book is about, where people can buy it, and what is next. So you're giving people an insight gradually into your book and into your story. You don't want to give everything away too quickly. So of course, find a strategy that works for you. Whether you are looking to have a book launch in person or online, make sure that you've built a community. And this is the reason why I encourage you to know the people in your field and get to know them. Don't just ask them for opportunities for what you can gain, but also let them know what they can also receive, so that both of you can partner together and bring about creativity. Books are such valuable resources that if we are not careful, we can tend to overlook, because we think once we've written a book and the sales aren't there, then what's the purpose? But this is the reason why I emphasize that now that you've got your book out, what next? What are you going to do with your book? Another question that most of our authors tends to ask is, how much do you think my book should be? And I ask them, how much work do you believe you put into this book that will determine the price? Because no matter how much someone gives you of how much the book should be worth, you as the author, the creative, knows how much work and investment has gone into that book. You then also need to study your target audience. When you study your target audience and you understand the market that we're in, you have to ask yourself, do I want more people to come so as to make it affordable? Or because I know how much work I've put into this book, I'm mindful that not everybody may attend, but I know that the right people will buy. Both are right. You can have a very low cost book and have a lot of people come, and you can have a high-end book with only specific people that understand the purpose behind your book to buy it. Either way, as long as you have got the right community and the right following that believes in the vision of your book, you are then able to put more work into it by getting the word out there. You are also able to ask people to help you. Your community, your followers, your subscribers are there. You can also blog about your book. WordPress.com is an amazing website which I have used since 2014 when it came to writing. I used WordPress to inspire me to write my first book in 2016 called It's Time to Heal. And that was my outlet to release what was in my heart to the ladies. And the blog is called the Women's Worth Conference Group. So you can find that on Google. And since then, I've been very consistent with not only writing, but sharing my other YouTube videos and some of the business authentic work as well, including our authors' books. But it's really important that you're not just limiting yourself to one platform. In as much as WordPress is great, I knew that my book can't just stay on that platform. And that's when we created our official website, Authentic Worth Publishing. And there, we started utilizing it to share the services that we provide, the products that we sell, including our books, mugs and pens, and also our author stories and events that we do on a monthly basis. So we had to find a way to really expand ourselves as a business and our authors as well. And for those of you who are still new into the writing journey or you've just released a book, have you considered having a website? Have you considered creating your own platform where people can buy directly from you, relative to just relying on other online platforms? Are you being consistent on your social media platforms? Are you building relationships with people that you know and you don't know, whether it be online and offline? How much work are you putting into your book right now? How intentional are you to see it thrive? And that's one of the reasons why understanding your target audience is very important, but doing your own research. And how do you do research? You can do research through networking events. You can find opportunities to attend workshops about book writing and self-publishing. Again, the London Book Fair is a great platform. For those who were not able to attend, I was one of the speakers at the London Book Fair in March this year, and I can honestly say that it has changed my life, and I encourage you to come. We invited two of our other authors who are now officially authors, whoop, 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 Adeze and Dawn. Well done to you both ladies. They also attended the London Book Fair, and we met so many other people. And there were various topics from copyright to audiobook writing, illustrations, self-publishing versus traditional publishing. So I do encourage you, if you haven't yet been to the London Book Fair, please save the dates next year on the 10th to the 12th of March. And again, this opportunity gave me a platform to talk about my journey into book writing. And through my journey, I'm able to inspire people to also start their books as well. And through that, you don't know that when you're speaking to people or when you tell someone about a book, you don't know how much of an inspiration it will be to them. It will feel like a gift. I remember in my previous job, I was reading my book From Glory to Glory, and a lady came up to me and said, "Oh, I didn't know that you write books." And I told her, at the time I only had my 2 books, It's Time to Heal and Completion. And I told her about them briefly, and she bought both of them. It's not that I know her, she only came for her evening shift while I was going home, but she bought the books. Why? Because of the way that I explained it, and I also asked her what season she was in. So anytime I have book signings or opportunities to promote my books and people are interested in them, I firstly ask them, before you pick one book, what season are you in? And then as the author, I recommend this book to them. So for example, if someone is in the season of mental wealth, they should read the book about abundant progress. If someone is learning how to find themselves as a woman and is open to dating, then they should read The Becoming Woman. If someone is learning about healing and self-development, then they should read It's Time to Heal, for women in particular. But for the men, I haven't forgot you, there's Completion, learning about your own personal development journey, growing in who you are, even in the face of calamity. Because if you see the book cover of Completion, it's shattered glass. It could be shattered dreams. I once had this dream, but it didn't come to pass. So therefore, I'm just going to step back. I wanted to publish my book, but I don't know how my community and my audience are going to see it. You have to be really intentional about how you come across with your story. Even if you feel overwhelmed, you still have the right to push through. You are capable of sharing that book, even if you don't know where to start. I must commend you, author, for even writing a book in the first place. Sometimes we say we want to do something, and unfortunately we don't pull through. And this is one of the reasons why, from experience and from a place of love, I encourage you, if you are writing a book, keep it very minimal to the people that you are going to share it with. If you have one person that you can be accountable to, that can keep you going, that's great. But if you can be accountable to yourself and your own journey, even greater. You might tell someone that you're looking to write a book. Procrastination comes in, distractions, being unfocused, looking at what other people are doing. All these things can bring you back and slow your progress down. And you don't want that as an author. So ask yourself, when you get your book out there, what are you going to do to market it effectively? Well, firstly, you need to get the book done. If you don't write the book, who's going to write it for you? And this is where we come in as a business, because we want to sit down with you and to discuss your ideas from getting them out of your mind and onto paper through our one-to-one consultations. We can either do the one-to-one consultations in person or virtually. Either way that suits you, be intentional. And I'm going to leave more information about our consultations below for you to read on our website. But I do encourage you, if you are really intentional about getting your book done this year, I want you to write in the comment section below, I am intentional. Write down, I am intentional, and keep that as your accountability. Because the more intentional you are in speaking it, the more intentional you are in actually starting the process. So don't keep it within yourself. Remind yourself every single day that you have what it takes to write that book, even if you don't have an audience. Most people, they tend to wait until they built that audience before they write. You could be waiting for a while because you won't even know who your audience is until you start writing. So how to build that audience is through relationship building, through others, but also being accountable to your own writing progress. Don't start today and then you stop tomorrow and then you start next week and then you stop next month. Be consistent every single day. Be intentional about how you come across with your book and your story. Remember, people don't just want to read your book, they also want to get to know you as the author. I get so excited that when I run book launches, people aren't just excited to hold a copy of the book, they want to get to know the author. If you've been to a book launch, you would know that when the author is being interviewed by the publisher, you would know that there are so many burning questions that people want to ask the author. How long did it take for you to write your book? What was your favorite part about writing? What's your favorite chapter? What made you name your book this title? How are you looking to market your book? All these questions are amazing because it gets you thinking. It makes you more creative to understand what your story is about. And the people who are asking, they want to build a relationship with you. Are you being open to the people that are asking you questions? Are you being your authentic self in sharing your experiences and your knowledge with them? That's what people want to know. Think about a book as a gift. You're giving it to someone for that person to not only appreciate what you've done for them, but again, to express their love. And that's how reviews come in. Because reviews is saying, did I like the book? Did I not like the book? Could it be better? In other words, feedback or testimonials. Don't be afraid to receive feedback. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. We all have a book within us. And only when you start writing, that's when you will see how effective your book will be for your community. So I really encourage you, when you write a book, ask yourself, what next? What specific strategies have you used right now that has got your book to where it needs to be? Your book may not be in a bookshop right now, but it doesn't mean that it will not be effective, and it doesn't mean it won't get there one day. That's if it's your specific desire to be in a bookshop. But even if your book is in a bookshop, what is its purpose if it doesn't sell there? What if books can sell better online than worrying about it being in store? This is something to also consider, because most times we think my book can only be great in a bookshop. And I get that for publicity, but now, remember, technology is changing. Things are changing quickly and swiftly, so you need to learn how to adapt with the times. Even if it's being interviewed by someone, joining someone's podcast, sharing your story about it, these are ways of advertising your book for free. I'm going to leave it as that. I want you now to take your time to sit down and find out what strategies are working for you with your book. You need to understand the purpose and the tone of your book. When you understand the tone of your book, you will know how to market it. And you know what social media platform to use. This is a big one. For those of you who may be new, I do encourage you to use TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn for your book, because these are where a lot of people tend to use, and to an extent Facebook. But TikTok and Instagram are really good for book awareness. So if you are not as tech savvy or as social media savvy, why don't you bring someone on board? Don't do this journey by yourself. There's only so far you can go as an author. But when you do it with others, you can see that you will go further together. I really hope that this video has helped and it's giving you a deeper insight into how you can market your book effectively after it is being published. Don't depend on just one publishing platform. You've got so many ways of marketing your book because your story deserves to be heard. So don't limit yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've got any other topics that you would like me to discuss, as always, leave them in the comment section below. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you be intentional about your book. Take care and all the best. Bye-bye.